Well, good morning. This is Tennis Minutes. I have a couple ideas this morning. I'm using an old T2000, and one of the things I've done is I put some rubber bands on here so I can, practice. I can hear that acceleration as I swing. You can hear that noise. Listen, you hear that swishing noise. And a lot of times when you're hitting, you see. I was watching a group of young players at a club, and eight young men. And very good players hit the ball very hard, and they were many of them were just muscling the ball. And I wonder what would happen if they were a little bit looser. Some of us, try to hit the ball too hard instead of being loose. And there's something about playing baseball when you're going to hit that long ball that you're loose, you're not tight, and you're moving forward into that ball. And as a baseball hitter, you're loose from the face all the way down to your whole body, and you could just see how they're muscling, and they crunch up and things like that. And then if they'd missed, they act like they should have made it. That's a whole nother story. But trying to develop that looseness as you stroke, and at the same time being able to be set, so you're ready to be able to hit that ball. So you're just not tapping that ball and not letting that racket flow through. And so acceleration, and that's one way you can practice acceleration. Another one is just practicing. I have magnets on here, like a baseball batter. They use a donut, and when they practice, they take that long stride. They try to get loose, and they can't be tight, and then take that long stride into the ball. And so when you're playing tennis, I put these magnets here, and to stimulate, like a baseball donut, when they're on deck and they're just trying to loosen up the shoulders. There is controversy on whether this actually helps you to accelerate when you put a donut on or weights. I guess there's pros and cons on that. You can look it up on the internet and see the study that they did in physics on that. But here, I like to practice with like these magnets here. They're about a half a pound each. So that's 2 extra pounds on the racket, and then practice accelerating that racket. And I can put these weights in different places if I want. And then to take that racket and just practice with this tennis stand I have, and just practice. And so I have the stand that I made from some exercise equipment that I picked up at a thrift store. I found this exercise equipment, and made a hitting stand out of it. And so I help you be creative in ways to practice. I'm always looking for ways to practice at home, and hopefully, as I play the summer. It's winter here right now. It's cold outside, but I'm practicing here in my living room, and so I'm just practicing accelerating. One of the things that I noticed that you're going to get a lot more power as you accelerate, and I don't want to be tight and stiff. I always want to be loose, and so here I'm just practicing. And then if I want to, I can take a regular racket. This case I'm using a Babolat, an old Babolat. And now that racket I can practice accelerating that racket right through and practice my forehand. And so another idea I like to do is I like to put a weight or a ball, some kind of ball or something that I'll use a pillow right now, and I'll put it on my feet, raise up a little bit, maybe a couple pillows, and that way it raises up my back leg a little bit and helps me, to use different muscles. And when I'm playing, you'll notice that when it's not there, then I'm stretching my body more out. I'm not sure if I have the right terminology right now, but sometimes when people come into the net, they're hitting off that front foot, and in the middle of the court, in the back court, they're hitting off that back foot a lot more with an open stance. And so you practice, having that racket and the foot come up a little bit. And so that's why I like to raise that back foot a lot when I'm just practicing hitting. And so here I'm practicing. One of the things that I noticed that coming back from a bad injury, this whole arm, is that I need to stretch it more. And so I want to be able to stretch that arm out more. And it's actually getting much better. I'm hoping by this summer my arm's going to be at maybe 90%. Right now it's only about 75%. It's better than it was. There was a time that it was at 0%. I couldn't even move my arm. And about 7-8 months ago. But now it's about 75%. And so I'm practicing, trying to get some motion back into my arm again. And so I practice forehand and backhand. And one of the things I think that it's been successful is that I just don't use my right arm, I use my left arm. What's really helped me is using the left arm. It seems to create balance on both sides of the body. As I strengthen my left side of my body, it helps my right side of my body. And so remember that. So as you strengthen one side of your body, it's going to help the other side of the body. And you don't want to do all repetitive motions all the time on one side of the body. You're going to end up hurting your elbow, hurting your shoulder. So learn how to strengthen, even if you don't play left-handed, okay? Or you don't want to be ambidextrous, at least practice so you're strengthening that opposite hand. And your teaching is a great way to practice, because then you're able to help other people, because you've been practicing the left-handed, and so you're able to help a left-handed, or you're able to help a right-handed, whichever is true. And so practice. I encourage you to practice. And this is just one way that I practice at home indoors. And I made this stand, like I said, in review. I found a piece of equipment at the thrift store, and I made this tennis stand out of it and put a spring on it, and it's been very successful practicing. I can practice low to high here, or I can raise this up here, and now I can hit higher ball up here. So I'm hitting the ball higher up here. And so it's a great piece of equipment that I adapted to make a hitting stand out of. And so here I'm hitting the ball higher, so it's more up high, chest high. If I want to, I can take it and I can put it in. I can make this where now I'm hitting a lower ball, and so I'm lifting, and so you're practicing lifting that ball where you get natural topspin. And so I'm practicing from thigh to my shoulder, thigh to my shoulder, thigh to my shoulder, and so it's a great way to practice. Thigh to sky, Vandermeer used to say. Thigh to sky. Old teacher Dennis Vandermeer used to say thigh for your backhand. Thigh to what? Thigh to sky. Just a little rhyme there. Thigh to sky. And so practice. This way I'm trying to accelerate a little bit more today. I didn't hit the one, but a lot of times I can just practice soft. And that's one thing I noticed about a lot of players. You get out there and all of a sudden these young players are hitting the ball so hard. And good thing you do then is just dump the ball over soft. Okay? You don't want to be hitting hard with someone that hits hard and they just hit winners from the baseline. Make them run up. Make them go back, move side to side, okay? At least if they're going to, beat you badly, since they're so young and powerful, at least you made them run. You might have frustrated them, but teaching them how to teaching them how to hit softballs too. So this is a good way to practice and share a couple ideas. This is called Tennis Minutes. I'm just trying to share a few ideas and practice, so encourage practice at home. It's a great way to practice. And so if you're taking lessons at a tennis club, you don't have much time where you practice on the court, you're taking a lesson, and it's kind of like drill or whatever. You're taking a drill probably too, taking private lessons, you're drilling, but how about practice at home, okay? Find ways to practice on your own. Do you ever think about creating your own practice plan? When you practice, what are you practicing? You're not just good enough to say, well, I'm trying to hit harder, or I'm just trying to hit the ball in. What are you trying to do? Okay? And so have some kind of plan, purpose to your practice, not that you're just out there hitting the ball. You have a plan and a purpose.